check this out here. I'm doing another check on audio after setting up some new things, and I need to know if you guys can hear me all right. I'm installing some water cooling in this machine after the stock air-cooled system. It wasn't installed, basically. The CPU might be damaged, or it might not. So I might actually end up installing this, but only if the CPU that's currently not working properly is damaged, because in diagnosing the machine shutting down, I realized the CPU cooling was not installed properly. And since this is just the $10 cooler, we're just going to go ahead and replace it, since the problem with these cheap free ones, the ones that come with the CPU, the little plastic is so soft that you really can't constantly reinstall these things more than once. So we're going to water cool it with Corsair iCUE H100i. This hardware here. Never been here before. My name is Chris. I'm an IT guy who goes live 3 days a week, sometimes more often if I have any content is worth showing off. I'm live today because I need to see if my audio is working with my new setup. This is what I'm installing today. Water cooling is technically more efficient, but theoretically less reliable. So we've decided to go with the Corsair water cooling hardware to replace the free Intel stock CPU mounted fan. So let's go over what hardware gets used. This is the radiator. You know what? Does it make sense to actually show you right there? That's where this is going to get installed also, on the other side of the piece of metal that you're looking at. And then this here, it's got the dust cover on it now because it's got some pre-assembled what's it called, thermal grease, so I don't have to add my own. And that's when I'm ready to actually install it on the motherboard, I'll remove this piece of plastic. This is the primary piece of hardware that gets installed, and then these two fans right here. I've got two of these fans that'll go directly on the radiator, and then here's the bracket that goes on the back of the motherboard. Right there. Right there. So this bracket here, 4 screws go through the motherboard and hold on to that with the CPU pump straddling the CPU. We're going to install the CPU that was in the machine, and hopefully it's not damaged. One of the issues is that it won't stay on for more than a few seconds, and obviously you need to properly be cooled, and I wasn't able to cool that CPU with a broken or mangled CPU cooler. So where do I want to get started? May as well open all the packages. Let's see here. I gotta check. Hey, Tom! I can't hear. I gotta go live and see how my audio is. Let's see here. May as well just open all the packaging. Looks like their USB cable that fires the water pump. You go USB power. It's micro USB, and then it plugs into the USB plug on the motherboard. Let's see. What's going on? The screws. the screws were in the bracket basket, or what do you call it? There we are. Alrighty. Okay, so we're not dealing with AMD, so we're not going to, we will literally have extra parts. Everyone jokes about how that happens. Oh, I have extra parts, I guess we don't need them. Alright, so I need to see how the audio's going. Let's see what the audio's doing for me. Let's see. YouTube, I have to check my own audio feed. I need to see how the audio's going. Let's see what the audio's doing for me. Oh, you know what? Let's see. Sounds alright. Of course, I unplugged my phone, so now I have so much resistance I gotta hum. Oh, there we go. Nope. Oh, you know what? Let's see. Alright, audio's going. Good. Alright. So, what do I want to do? Ooh, is he booting off of a mechanical hard drive? Yeah, it looks like he is. Well, that's a bummer. Alright, so where do I want to start? What I think I want to do is flip this thing around. You know what? There we go. There's our Intel configuration. It's not actually a square, but it's close. No, this is not the hardware we're dealing. Oh. There we go. That'll help. Yeah, these screw holes are adjustable. There we go. You put them in towards the square. And we should have, nice alignment there. Okay, so now I'm going to remove this. So I removed the adhesive and now it's going to stick on the underside of the motherboard. Again, these are the screw hole, the base plate holds the screw threads so that it can sandwich the CPU. Alright, there we go. And of course, I've got a physical disability. Sometimes doing this one-handed can be a little weird. If you watch me do certain things, it's a little less than conventional at times. So there we go. I got the bracket plate stuck. That adhesion should hold. Although if I have to push too hard, I got to make sure I'm using my other hand to push the backside against the motherboard. So now that that's installed, you know what I think I'm going to do? As a trick, I'm going to take some styrofoam and create something for that to rest on. So when I push against it, I've got some equal and I got some opposite resistance, so I can actually push down on those screw holes and not have it pop out. So what I think I want to do is, that's all AMD hardware. Here are our screws. So here's what we'll do. I'm going to open these bags. Extra hardware. Those are the brackets. Is this the Intel bracket or is this the AMD bracket? Intel. All right. Part of the sandwich that allows you to mount the pump directly to the CPU. screw, screws. Oh no, that's AMD hardware. All right. Oh yeah, so we're not going to use the AMD hardware. I opened up the AMD hardware when I should have done Intel. Here's all the bags for the Intel. All right, and let's see. I'm going to attach the fans. What was that? All right. I'm going to attach the fans to the radiator. Let's see here. I want to move this camera, but it's got an issue where it disconnects if I literally touch it. Let's see what our options are. All right, so does this make sense for me to do this right here? Let me see if this makes sense. This is what I'm doing right here. So, yeah, I'm just screwing these fans to the underside. See what's up? Yes, you can. All right. I keep staring off into my monitor. You can't necessarily... Oh, I guess you can see what I'm up to because of the other camera right here. I'm trying to monitor on my... what you guys can see versus what I can see. All right, so I need a couple more screws, the long ones, right here. Hopefully when I fire this up, the CPU that I install this under isn't so compromised that it won't stay on. But that is our suspicion, which is why we have a spare CPU to swap out. Since it won't even stay on in the BIOS where it's not doing much. All right. Okay, that's 3 out of 4 screws. I'm actually not going to do this whole build in one video because I have to go do a quick house call and reset someone's router password. I tried with the wrong password one too many times and it locked me out, so I told the customer I'd go have lunch and then come back. So I don't want them to think, I already got paid. I don't want to do that to a new customer and let them think I'm going to leave them hanging. So I'm just going to do the other fan. Okay, we got one fan installed. Most of this can be installed with nothing more than a Phillips head screwdriver. Yes. Alrighty. There we go. Two more screws. Alrighty. And there we go. That's pretty much it. Alright, I don't have time to do this all in one video. I gotta go reset a router. So that's what's going on. The fans are going to be pushing air out of the machine. So you want to make sure your blades are pushing towards the outside, or the up direction in our case. And that's when I will install. Well, I'm going to take this little vent thing off of here, and there's holes, as you can see. For the remainder of the installation, I'm just going to use those holes on the side. Right. Let's see here. Let's do it like this. There we go. Okay, what do we need here? One of the things you want to make sure you don't do is install this thing on top of a fan plug that you can't get to. Otherwise, you can't plug anything in. And it looks like the fan connectors are all on other parts of... Yeah, good. You do have one fan that's plugged in right there. But that's not a big deal. So, let's see. There aren't many fan options. Oh, there's a CPU fan option right there. This motherboard, this ASUS motherboard actually does, it's a PC, what is it? It's a ASUS, well, it's a PCI enabled, it's an M2 enabled motherboard. But anyway, okay. I'm just going to fix the radiator to the top of the case, just so I can get the bulk of the hardware in the machine. I'm going to make sure I do these washers because the case holes are fairly large. Alrighty. This is where it kind of takes two good hands to do this. Okay, we got a problem. What's up against this? Oh, lovely. Okay, so... Oh man, that's going to be a tough fit. The RAM is in the way. Well, that's interesting. That's just not fun. What are we going to do about that? That's a real bummer. So, what are we going to do about that? That's a really stupid... Okay. Well, that's just a dumb design. What do I want to do about that? yeah, that's what we're going to have to deal with. That's the problem with this case manufacturer wasn't expecting this motherboard configuration. This RAM is in the way. Case is asking for the hardware we bought. At a glance, you wouldn't expect that to be a problem because you'd figure the elevation from the motherboard to the top of the RAM slot wouldn't be so much that it would hinder a cooling issue. So, what's going on? I don't know yet. How do I want to deal with that? I don't really want to tell the customer to go buy new hardware. Didn't occur to me that the RAM would be in the way. That's a problem. So what should we do? Shoot, what can we do about this? This motherboard is pissing me off. You know what? We're gonna make this work. Oh, shucks. I didn't mean to knock that off. A little dust cover. Don't want to get junk all over my Okay, so if we this is another reason why I like bigger cases. This is a problem. How are we going to deal with this? I suppose that could work. I'll have to think about this. It didn't occur to me that the RAM module would be in the way. What are we going to do? All right. What do we want to do? That's a problem. It's just weird that the ATX standard doesn't require the RAM to be installed in either direction. That's kind of up to the manufacturer. That's a little frustrating. Because if this is a full ATA case and that's a full ATX motherboard, these sort of conflicts shouldn't happen. I got a run-of-the-mill water cooling setup. The case is asking for it, but the motherboard RAM is in the way. Can you see? Let's see here. Let's see if I can articulate that in such a way that's a little more obvious. So there, you can see right here, the RAM is up against the CPU, I'm sorry, the fans for the radiator. So, oh, you know what we could do? Okay, we might have an option here. Okay, so we have a second chance. The front of this case looks like it has room for the radiator. I'll have to remove the existing fan that's up front, but then we have a dual bay that should take the entire radiator without hindrance. So there we go. All right. Okay, so it looks like we got some space right about here. I gotta go do finish up a house call. Hopefully that'll take me 10 minutes, and I'll have reset the password for their router so that I can turn off the Wi-Fi on that router, so their primary Aero hardware does all the dirty deeds, and they stick with that router instead of using the bad Wi-Fi. Okay, cool. So normally I'd install the hardware exactly where you see it to be because heat rises, but physically the RAM is in the way, so I'm going to install it in the front, and then we'll just blow the heat out the front. There's currently a fan that's doing that, but there's no heat sink attached to it, and it will have nothing to do with the cooling upgrade that we're performing today. So I'll fix that, and then we should be good. I'll probably do that, yeah, as soon as I get back, probably in an hour or so, and I'll go live and finish the job. If you've never been here before, you've stumbled across me, South Bay Tech Gurus, offering free interaction, usually 3 days a week, 10 a.m. Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. And this is pretty much what I do. I only go live and show off whatever conversations make sense to you. And if you want to call while I'm here, call 855-434-8787, and I'll invite you to bug me. All right, so yeah, my more predictable time to find me is around 10 a.m. Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. If I have something like this, it's slightly more interesting to show off. I'll do it off schedule. 855-434-8787. If you don't want the phone call, give me a chat in the YouTube chat at South Bay Tech Gurus, or on Facebook at South Bay Tech Gurus. Thank you.